Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at one of my special filming spot locations because we have some trees, we have some bushes, I got some birds and some bugs flying around because guess what? We have a compact crossover SUV that's meant to take you on an adventure, and it's this vehicle right here. What is it? It's a 2024 Mazda CX-50. This is that special edition known as the Meridian Edition. But before we get into this off-road spec of a CX-50, let's talk about what's going on here. Many brands are doing these off-road specs to many of their vehicles in their lineup. Once upon a time, it was all about the large SUVs and crossover SUVs. Now it's even vehicles in the subcompact class and the little bit larger compact class. Now, the CX-50 came out just a couple years ago. It was a little bit longer version of the popular CX-5, but of course Mazda wanted to bring that fun driving experience for those that want the adventure to continue when they leave the pavement. So what I want to find out is it worth the price, the extra moolah for the Meridian Edition, and is this better than the Crosstrek Wilderness, which is all new for model year 2024? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this CX-50 and find out. Right off the bat, the color. It's called Zircon Sand, and it is one of my favorite colors. This is a special color that if you're gonna go Meridian Edition, it kind of shoehorns you into two colors. Zircon Sand, and then another popular color, Polymetal Metallic. So if you want Soul Red, you can't go Meridian Edition. At the front of the business, you're actually gonna get some different styling. You'll notice that you have a little bit different headlight housing, but you're still gonna get the same great LED daytime running lamps. You do have adaptive headlights that are actually gonna move with the steering. Working your way down, we have functional, ginormous corner air curtains, and you're gonna get some nice flat black that's gonna take a better beating. Now, one of the zonks that I gotta give this is that it doesn't have any extra height to it. No extra lift over a standard CX-50. If you look at the Wilderness edition of the Crosstrek, that has over 9 inches of ground clearance. This one has about 8.5. So depending on where your adventure is going to take you, you might be ripping things off the front and the bottom of this CX-50 Meridian Edition if things get really rough when it comes to the off-roading. Now, as we come across that great shape of a grille, flat black on the Meridian Edition with the Mazda badge, top dead center, and you'll notice we have this dark metallic trim, which on a lot of other Mazdas is usually chrome. I'm liking it from side to side, and this actually mimics the design of the Mazda logo. So you see how you have that little dip there? That's what that is supposed to be mimicking in the style of the vehicle. On the lower side, you do have ginormous, just like the corner air curtains, you do have a large intake on the lower grille area, fully functional, and then they give it a little bit of silver trim to give it that little extra off-road-esque style to it. Definitely though, from the front, looking fantastic. The one other thing I would like to see is a forward-facing camera. If you're gonna want me to go off-road, I don't care how tough the off-roading is, it always makes it easier to have a forward-facing camera. Now, as we rise up, one of the things I love about the Meridian Edition is you're gonna get these anti-glare strips. Nice large one in the center. It's got the CX-50 Meridian Edition in the actual anti-glare strip, and then you have the smaller ones on both sides. With the Zircon Sand, this is the chef kiss of style for the hood. Absolutely love the dimensions of the CX-50, especially over the more kind of squished together CX-5. Now, as we come all the way around, you are gonna get a off-road style wheel, similar to what you would get on a Crosstrek Wilderness. So we have machine aluminum, gloss black. This is an 18-inch wheel. Subaru Crosstrek Wilderness, you get a 17-inch wheel. We have standard all-wheel drive, and then you'll notice we have those nice tires that have the shielding. These are off-road spec Falcon tires with the shielding in the sidewall to give it that protection, to give you a little bit more grappling grip, but it's not gonna create too much extra road noise. It's a nice compromise, a nice balance. I think Mazda has done a great job with the plastic cladding and the fender flares. I think even more so than the way the the Crosstrek Wilderness. Where the Crosstrek Wilderness really comes into play is, like I said, that extra height, which gives it over 9 inches of ground clearance. That's class leading in this segment. Now, as we rise up, love the great shape of the hood and the fender, nice bold look. You're gonna have metallic black on the mirror caps, super teeny tiny turn signals built in. You'll notice up top, you do get a cargo platform. So we have a roof platform which comes on the Meridian with your Mazda branded crossbars. And I like the way you can lock everything in so nobody steals this. This would be perfect to put a cargo basket up here, bikes, canoes, kayaks, even some drums. You know, Steven loves to be in a drum circle. He could put all of his drums up there and show up in style and really get everybody excited at the next drum circle. Now, just like up front, we have a little bit of metallic silver on the lower portion here with the flat black. I'm glad that they did that. It gives, like I said, it just gives it a little bit extra style. And I think that's something that we could all agree that Mazda definitely knows the styling a little bit better than Subaru does. Subaru kind of a little funky with its shapes and its cladding. With the Mazda, all their Mazda vehicles, you have a nice kind of smooth appearance to it. Now, as you work your way towards the rear, I wish that they would have blacked out this shiny bright metalwork only on the back portion. I think it would just match nicer, especially the roof rails. Why do we have silver roof rails when everything else is black? So I would like to see that be black, so that is a zonk. But getting back to the rear of the vehicle, they did a great job. You have a stubby roof spoiler. I like how low the roof is to get things up and down from that platform. You do have the exposed wiper. I'm not gonna zonk it. It's the same thing as on the Crosstrek. There's not enough room underneath that rear spoiler, but they do a great job on their taillights. You do have the vents on the rear bumper, and you'll notice that word there, you don't get that on a Crosstrek. We have turbocharged power. Now, as we go all the way down, I like the way they finished it off with more of the metallic silver, and you're gonna have a functional exhaust, stainless steel tip on each side, nice slash cut oval opening. Gives it a nice look from the back. But I am wishing that they gave it a skid plate and also some more ground clearance. But definitely, styling wise, I really think they hit the nail on the head. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering this Meridian Edition. All right guys, you got the hood popped. You do have hydraulic hood struts, which are nice. No prop rod. And underneath that hood, with that usual familiar engine cover, we have the turbo name and we have that reliable power plant. It's a 2.5 liter turbocharged inline 4, putting out 256 horsepower, 320 pound-feet of torque, made it to a 6-speed automatic transmission. So this has almost 100 more horsepower than the Crosstrek Wilderness, and we don't have a CVT. We have a 6-speed conventional automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in about 6.4 seconds, top speed 142 miles an hour. The vehicle weighs 3,866 pounds, MPGs 23 in the city, 29 on the highway, and you could tow up to 3,500 pounds with this vehicle. So nice to have that turbocharged oomph. Of course, when you go Mazda, you're also gonna get that driving engagement that they're known for, that zoom zoom. They don't say zoom zoom anymore, but still in my heart, I still say zoom zoom every time I drive a Mazda. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and see it zoom out of here. All right, guys, we are inside this 2024 CX-50 Meridian Edition. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, this thing actually looks cool. I'm liking this CX-50. I've never really loved the CX-5. Kind of looked a little squished. I'm liking the elongated look, a little bit lower. How much is this bad boy? So MSRP for a CX-50 at this trim is going to be right around $42,000. That's going to be also part of the Meridian package is $2,800. So something to think about, getting that platform and all the other goodies. But let's see what you're getting when you go Meridian to the door panels. I love the two-tone, the nice dark soft touch material, and that's terracotta. It's not tan, it's not brown, it's terracotta. Love the stitching, soft armrest, no gloss black. Door pocket is a great size. You could easily get a big Buford from Checkers and 2 large fries and a strawberry milkshake to wash it down. Going from the door panel to the dash, soft touch material. Look at the nice leather style with the crisscross stitching. And I like the way they brought this dark gunmetal gray trim. Very nice. You come on in, you're going to get a 10.25-inch infotainment system. Now here's the weird thing. It's not a touchscreen when you're using the actual software that is in the Mazda CX-50. When you hook up your Apple CarPlay, which it's wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, but when you hook up wireless Apple CarPlay, it then becomes a touchscreen. So they kind of did a 50-50. So let me know how you feel about that. You still have to use the direct drive control knob to get through the different information with this vehicle. So you could go into your fuel efficiency monitor. I do like the color graphics and everything. They did do a really good job there, and you do get navigation. Now working your way down, dual climate control. I love the way these things have a nice solid click. They sound like a dial on a Wells Fargo safe from 1928. You do have 3 stages of heated seats. You got your 7-Eleven hot dog holder here, perfectly placed with the mustard, the relish. You got a 12 volt. Don't stick your hot dog in there, kids. It's going to hurt. 2 cup holders. Here is your Mazda key fob. Still looking good. Like the way it's got the buttons on the side. This is going to control your 6-speed automatic transmission. And this is the only gloss black that you have. Which, if you don't touch it, like my mom used to say, if you don't touch gloss black, you won't get fingerprints. You have your MI drive control that's to go into off-road mode and sport mode. There's your direct drive control knob. You have a real volume knob, which is nice. Wireless charging. And then super soft on the terracotta colored armrest. And watch this. You could open up 1 door. You could open up 2 doors. You got a little bit of felt lining, 2 USB-As, and enough room in there, I would say, for 6 boxes of good and plenty. So if you're going to the movies, you don't want to buy the $40 candy, you could sneak some candy in and you could have it stored in here before you sneak it into the movie theater. If you get caught, it's your fault, not mine. Seats, love the leather, perforated, nice stitching, nice bolstering. You do have power assist for the passenger, power assist for the driver, of course. That would make sense, right? And then I love the way you got a power sliding shade for your panoramic sunroof. Really, really nice the way they have that action. One-touch operation. Get your butt over here. I want to show you behind the wheel of this CX-50. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have 2 memory seat settings for the driver's seat. You'll notice the seat controls, easy to get to, especially that lower lumbar. Love the two-tone, the terracotta with the black. That is Meridian specific only. I'm 6 feet tall. I got plenty of headroom in here. Steering wheel, one of the best. Leather all the way around, nice stitching. You got some silver buttons, some flat black switch gear. You do have little paddles to go up and down that 6-speed automatic transmission. And then I love the way they do the instrumentation. You have a digital speedometer, which you could actually scroll through different information in the center, which is really nice. And it looks like an analog speedometer. You have an analog tach, coolant gauge, and fuel gauge. I got my MI drive control, sport, normal, and off-road. I like the way it changes. We're going sport, of course. And then as we back out, I want to show you when you're backing out, there is your backup camera. Clear resolution. I just wish it would take more of that room up. So I'm going to give it a half a zonk because it needs to take up. If God has given you 10 inches, especially 10.25 inches, you need to use all that space when God gives you the 10 inches of an infotainment room. I'm just saying. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the back seat and see if your passengers are going to be happy that you went CX-50 over Crosstrek. All right, guys, back seat time. And this is somewhere where I think, you know, because the CX-50 is a little bit larger than the Crosstrek, you're definitely going to have more passenger room. Backs of the seats, I'm glad that they did the black leather so that you could easily clean the boogers and all the other things, the earwax that your kids are going to put on the back of the seat because they're gross. You do have your AC vents, which are nice. And then you have 2 USB-As. I have a pocket over here where I could put 2, maybe 3. Hell, I might stuff 4 Annie Ann's pretzels in there because I love a nice, hot, soft pretzel. That's like my kryptonite, man. You give me that, game over. Seats back here, like I said, feel great. Same material as up front. Not a very soft armrest, but it looks good. Sort of reminds me of a basketball. A square, like rectangle basketball, which probably wouldn't be very fun to play with, but the color reminds me of a basketball. Seats, like I said, the stitching and everything. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the cargo area and see how many balls, basketballs that is, that we could fit in the back. Let's get to it. All right, guys, cargo time. We're gonna hit the button. Nice electric assist. You don't get that on the Crosstrek Wilderness. So keep track of all these things that you don't get on the Wilderness compared to the CX-50. I love the way they have these large notches for a gallon of jungle juice or a gallon of milk on both sides. Think about it. That way when you open up the lift gate and you're on a hill, the milk won't fall out and you won't have to cry over spilt milk. You have these very easily accessible handles to fold down the seats, 60-40 split. This is 31 cubic feet of space with the seats up. Fold the seats down, you're almost looking at 60 cubic feet of space. The one zonk I see back here is there's no 12 volt. So that means if you go to the beach with your kids and they're gonna ask you to blow up that damn raft again, which is a 7-person raft, you're gonna have to use your precious lungs to blow it up. That to me is a little bit of a bummer, but the good news is you do have a spare underneath. And you got a little box of goodies. These are Mazda cupcakes that they give you when you buy a CX-50 Meridian Edition. But you know what? Longitude, latitude, it doesn't matter. We're gonna go on throttle in this CX-50 Meridian Edition. All right, guys, we're inside this 2024 Mazda CX-50 Meridian Edition. Right away, you immediately are greeted by the materials and the fit and finish that really separates it from the rest of the competition, especially the Subaru Crosstrek Wilderness. I do have it in sport mode, and when you have it in sport mode, that's going to change how the transmission and the engine behave with one another. It actually holds a lower gear so that when you go on throttle, it's not having to drop down as many gears in the 6-speed. So that makes it get a little bit quicker getaway than when it's in normal mode. And then of course, the off-road mode is gonna be there for the all-wheel drive. Now, driving is so wonderful in this vehicle because it really is driver focused, just like all of Mazda's vehicles. And visibility is great. And it's just they really check off all the boxes. Comfortable seats, full power assist. I love having the ginormous panoramic roof that is an opening sunroof as well. You are gonna get a bit of wind noise from that cargo platform, but that's to be expected. And if you're not using it and you don't want it up there, you could take it down. Now, one thing to remember is they have you use the direct drive control knob to go into the infotainment system, and the reason why, to be honest, is it's a bit of a reach to use it as a touchscreen. Now, if you do have Apple CarPlay, like I pointed out before, it instantaneously becomes a touchscreen. So that's one thing that's really nice about it. Now, with the driving experience, like I said, right now it's in sport mode, and I'm basically driving down the road at about 2,000 RPM. As soon as I go back to normal, it drops it down to about 1,200. So that's gonna allow you to have a little bit quieter driving experience, better fuel economy, things like that, compared to being in sport mode. But the gauges are so easy to read. It doesn't have a head-up display, and I'm actually surprised that it does not, compared to a lot of other Mazda vehicles that do have a head-up display. This one does not. But the seats are fantastic, and the room in here is really, really usable. Usable space for whatever you need to do, whether you're hauling the kids around or you got to haul a bunch of junk around. You do have plenty of room. All right, guys, pulling away from the light on throttle. 6-speed drops off and drops down, and we are off and running. Look at this. That all-wheel drive really keeps you planning nicely, and that's not even sport mode. So it does have very snappy acceleration compared to the competition. And the thing is that the Crosstrek Wilderness may have the most ground clearance, but this definitely is the quickest out of all the competition. Love the way the vehicle handles, even with the off-road spec tires, because the good news is they're not too aggressive. So you're still gonna be able to enjoy plenty of asphalt grip and still have that off-road component. I do like the sound that comes into the cabin. There is a little bit of synthetic simulated sound, nothing too outrageous, just to kind of make the driving experience that much nicer. But the vehicle feels really balanced. Brakes feel great. Steering is phenomenal. And that all-wheel drive is gonna give you the grip that you want. On throttle, here we go, look at this. You do have blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, all those goodies. And you do have paddles to go up and down the 6-speed automatic, which I'll show you is real easy to do. Just take the shifter, put the shift lever over to the driver's side, and now I'm using the paddles. There is a small gear indicator at the base of the digital speedometer. But this makes it a little bit more engaging to go through the 6-speed automatic. Are you ready? On throttle, here we go. Nice smooth shifts from the automatic. But like I said, if you're hearing a noise, that's the wind noise from the cargo platform. There's not a lot of road noise from the off-road spec tires, which is good. But I'm telling you, the way this thing handles, really well done. More so than the Crosstrek Wilderness. At least on the asphalt. On the off-road, that's where the Crosstrek Wilderness is gonna flex its muscle, but this still does have a very competent suspension, whether you're on-road or off-road. And with the real deal off-road tires, it's gonna give you that confidence that you want while you're off-road. The great news is with the size of the vehicle, it's very easy to manage in traffic. And with the visibility as well, it makes it very easy to manage in traffic. But I'll go ahead and put it back into automatic drive mode. But the turbocharged pep of this setup really makes the driving experience very pleasurable behind the wheel. Not a lot of body roll for this type of vehicle, so she handles really well. And just like I said, the space is great in here. All of the touches are exactly what you're expecting now from Mazda. And you got plenty of zoom, even though Mazda doesn't use the zoom name in their advertisements anymore. It still has plenty of zoom, and it's a lot of fun to drive. And the fact that you have all of that usable space makes it even more so. But I'm hoping that this has been a good overall review of what the CX-50 Meridian Edition is bringing to the table. We're gonna get back and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another great day in many different ways with this Meridian Edition CX-50. I want to thank everybody over at Mazda for getting us access to this Zircon Sand colored Meridian Edition CX-50. Let me know what you think. Is this worth the extra moolah to go Meridian Edition over a regular CX-50? And is this better than the Crosstrek Wilderness? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rides family. Of course, we need to give it up, Stephen Flood Photography. He's beating his drums, he's smacking his hands, and you know what? He's working that camera like a champ. Show him some love in the comment section. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.